In Genesis chapter 4, there was a harvest about Cain and Abel, and Cain's harvest was rejected. And in this studies, we are going to see why Cain's harvest was rejected. In Genesis chapter 4, verse 1 says that Adam knew his wife and gave birth to Cain. And in verse 2 it said, and she again bare his brother Abel. And Abel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of ground. And we should not forget that in Genesis chapter 1 verse 20 says, God created man to take care of the vegetations and the animals. So when these two boys was brought out from the womb of Eve, they shared the work together among themselves. So Cain became a vegetation farmer, while Abel became a shepherd farmer, as God has commanded man earlier to do. In Genesis chapter 4 verse 3, in the process of time, it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground an offering to the Lord. Verse 4, and Abel he also brought of the firstling of the flock and the fat thereof. And the Lord has respect unto Abel and to his offering. Verse 5, but unto Cain and to his offering he had no respect, and Cain was very angry, and his countenances fell. So this is what Genesis chapter 4 verse 3 to 5 says about their harvest. Now, why did God rejected the offer of Cain? As we continue, we will know. Verse 6 to verse 7 of Genesis chapter 4 says, and the Lord said unto Cain, why are you angry, and why is thy countenance fallen? Verse 7, if you have done well, shall you not be accepted? And if you does not well, sin lie at your door, and to you shall be his desire, you shall rule over them. So God said that Cain, because he did not do it well, that's why he rejected his offer. This is where attention or many interpretation comes in. And many believes that it's because Cain harvest was a fruit or a rotten fruit, that's why it was rejected. But let's check the Hebrew word which was used there. That will give us more understanding of what God says about this. In the offering which was recorded in Genesis chapter 4 verse 3, the offering in the Hebrew word is minkah. Minkah. Minkah is an offering almost associated with a gift or a tribute, and mostly a grain offering. And it's mostly associated with grain offering, and it's different from burnt offering, which is olah, as seen in Leviticus 1 verse 3. So the offering these people were presenting was not an offering of burnt offering, rather it was a gift offering or a tribute, or most importantly a gift offered to the Lord, and not a burnt offering. So the idea that Cain's offering was rejected because it was fruit is not supported by the scripture, since mincha means an offering as a gift. And we should not forget that in Deuteronomy chapter 18 verse 4 reads, you shall give him the first fruit of your grain, your new wine, and the first sharing of your sheep. So the Bible in Deuteronomy 18:4 even approved the giving of grains or fruit as a harvest to the Lord, which is accepted to the Lord. So Cain's harvest was not rejected because it was fruit. Now let's see what God says in Exodus chapter 23 verse 19. You shall bring the choice of the first fruit of the soil into the house of the Lord your God. You shall not boil a young goat in the milk of his mother. So the text also even teaches that every first fruit should be brought to the Lord from the soil, which means vegetation. All these texts prove that God was really pleased with giving vegetation as a harvest, as a meha to the Lord. So therefore, Jesus even advised us that whenever we are having an harvest, we should have a clean heart, and if we have dispute with somebody, we should really stop the offering and settle the dispute with the person before we come to give an offering. This gives us some clue to know that Cain's offering was rejected because of his heart, because he was having a very bad and hard heart according to very popular and trusted interpretation aside the Bible, like the book of Enoch, the book of Jubilees, and also the books of Eden, which is not part of the Bible. Yet this shows clearly that God did not reject the harvest of Cain because it was a grain offering, or even it was a rotten fruit, since the Bible didn't mention anything of rotten vegetation. But God rejected the harvest of Cain because Cain was not having a clean heart. And so anyone that have no clean heart but yet want to harvest to God, God does not approve the harvest. It goes with everybody that does not want to give God a harvest with a clean heart, whether I spoiled money or cheating someone to gain more to give it to God. That does not please God. That happened to that of Cain. So let's see what you also think about this, and drop your comment, like and share if you're new to this page, and God richly bless you. Your comments and your questions will be answered appropriately.